ever since I was like a little kid, I kind of really wanted to go to college because it was something that my family never did. Um, like even for me graduating right now, it's a huge accomplishment because most of my family, if not all, did not go to college, and I wanted to kind of be that change, I guess.
None of my parents have gone to college. So, like when they emigrated here to the US, they kind of had in their head like we want a better life for our kids. We want them to go to college. And so ever since I was little, it's always just been like you got to get into college, you got to go to college. It was also kind of like you have to go on, and honestly to find a job these days, you kind of need a college degree. So it's like you don't really have a choice if you want to go or not. You just kind of have to find the college that's the right fit for you.
Part of it was because nobody else in like my family had gone and like finished school. Part of it was like because my mom passed away, I felt like one of my duties was to be the best that I could be, so she had something to be proud of. And that also I felt like even if she's not here, I get to kind of make a life that she probably would have liked.
In high school, they always give college all this like difficulty and like bad, not bad propaganda, but it's like, oh, it's got to be the hardest time of your life. It's got to be all this, no leniency. You got, if you're not doing everything perfect, you're gonna fail and everything's gonna go poorly. The teachers actually care and will listen to you, and you know, if something goes wrong, they'll always be there for you. They're not here to just get a paycheck and leave. They're here to educate you and lead you on a path that hopefully will lead to your success.
I thought college, like, you had to do everything yourself because I don't know. I've seen that with a lot of people who back in my hometown who went to like community colleges. Like it seemed like they did everything themselves, worked all these jobs, paid for everything themselves. And so seeing that there's resources for Knox and those resources were there, the Trio Bridge program, they were there right away. So I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it.
I was terrified because I was going from Sandburg, which felt so small, to like Knox isn't that big, but for me it was big. But then what was really nice was like my first week with introduction week with Trio and stuff, and on the football field and everything, everybody was so inviting. And then as far as classes go, even harder than Sandburg. The learning is so much more powerful. It's very individualized. You have to really push yourself in all of your classes because no one's going to do it for you.
In high school, everything was easy for me. I got straight A's all the time, 4.0 and above GPAs all the time. Never got a C, barely got a B. So I thought, oh, it's going to be the same. We're going to be cruising over here. So when I got here, it was just different and it was a lot. And I think I couldn't figure out why I was struggling so much. And I think not just only coming from a school where I was so used to being part of the top 10 or the top of the class, coming here and having to actually seek tutoring felt like a lot for me.
I definitely really thought I was not meant to be in college, especially my freshman year. Um, I really did bad my freshman year, and I didn't really think I was going to continue. Just told myself that I'm doing this for a reason and that everyone else around me probably feels the same way, that they're not meant to be in college and that I just need to like put my head down and get in the books and, you know, um, try to do better than I did.
And I guess I'm also kind of hard on myself, and like just like imposter syndrome, never thinking I'm good enough or I fit or I can like I'm as good as any of my peers, and so like that puts on that extra like pressure. Being a black man in a predominantly white institution brings on that also extra like pressure of like being smart and being doing well. Well, I guess also being trying to fight that stereotype that like black men with dreads, they don't do anything but like do drugs or They're just gonna get in trouble. They're gonna get arrested, stuff like that. So like kind of that also kind of puts an extra pressure to like be better and to like put more effort in.
In a way, I knew that that pressure was there from like my family and for myself also, you know, like trying to do my best, but I feel like I put more pressure on myself than I should have because I did it almost to a fault. You can have all the resources at your disposal, but it's not until you try to work those into your life and your lifestyle and change your mindset that you're gonna see things change. You're gonna see like a product of knowing all of these things. It's like you can't just know things, you have to use them to your advantage.
Being like a first generation student, low income household, I always was there for my family and I was always that like rock for them. I did everything for my family unit. And so coming to college and being away from my family, I kind of had to take a step back and look at myself and be like, what do I like to do? Who is Melissa?
So I've always had a weakness for being alone. Being alone has always been something that's been really, really hard for me to do and concentrate and keep my mind set on one thing. And this is also altered by the fact that I spent a summer at a monastery meditating, which is a very quiet, low input place. But the strengths that I've found that COVID has imparted on me is sort of like endurance and adaptability, you could say. And I think a lot of people are discovering this about themselves, is that when things go like that, they have it within them to sort of come forth and do what needs to be done to get the job done now.
Seeing how everyone else is reacting to being online and how people, it was not the vibe for a lot of people. It I don't know. This may sound terrible, but it kind of like affirmed my strength with going forward with it, because for me, this is happening at a point in my life where it's like, at least to me, I feel like I have everything to lose, you know, and so I feel like maybe I don't know if it was just that drive that was kind of covering the annoyances and the frustrations I had with virtual school that was helping me get through it, or if it was just I just didn't really feel that much of an impact. But nonetheless, I feel like just the fact that it was my senior year and I'm just so close. I'm so close with finishing, you know, so much. It made me feel like I have nothing to lose, and so I have everything to lose. So it's like even if this thing happened, or if I had to be at home, if I had to be studying, helping my mom out at the house, getting groceries for my siblings and stuff like that, like even though that stuff took away time from school, it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay up a little bit and get this stuff done. I'm gonna wake up early and get this stuff done.
To me and my like family situation, I kind of see myself as like a success point to where, because my brother has struggled a lot with his mental health, with just what he wants to do. And I feel like if I can succeed coming from, you know, the same family, the same background, he'll be more comfortable doing what he wants to do. And also, like my dad works a lot. I kind of want to give him like something to show that, hey, like I appreciate what you did. I'm trying to have a better life because I know that's what you want. So like being able to succeed, kind of like I have all that pressure that I have to do this not for myself but for other people around me as well.
I'm sure a lot of first gens go through this, but like a huge portion of it was financially. You know, that was probably the hardest part throughout this entire thing, is financially. How am I going to get this done? What am I going to do to get this done? And family wise, that is a big struggle. Like, especially for, I don't know if this is unique to my family, but for like my family, um, money has always been one of those things that's been always very, very tight.
Oh my God, yeah. Sophomore year, I was like, because I was playing basketball and everything, and then I was working 2 jobs, one in archives and then being an RA. And even with that, my tuition, even after taking out scholarships and everything, was an amount that I did not see. I just did not know how I was gonna like pay that off. And around that time, like reaching the halfway point, I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna make it to senior year. Just looking at that amount, and so thankful that like the stimulus money came and like the CARES money came, because that went straight towards that. Everything, almost everything I've made here has gone straight towards paying that off. And now that I finally was able to actually pay that amount off. I mean, I still have loans, right? But just the amount I owe straight to Knox, like finally. And I was able to take less hours of work from archives, which I use now for studying. And so that really was just like a huge relief.
There were times when I was like, I'm not doing what I should be doing, or I'm not achieving at the level that I feel like I should be achieving at. And so that was, and like when I was like talking to you about like ADHD and like all that kind of stuff, and like problems I've been facing, I like realized then like, oh, I'm struggling a lot more than I probably should be struggling. It was like when I told my mom like, oh, I think I want to go get tested, she was like, what? Why? Like, why would you ever want to go get tested like for ADHD? Like you used to have problems, but you figured it out. Like, you know, like you were like always failing your classes and stuff, but like you worked and you figured it out. And so that made like, you know, like it made me realize that like even if I am struggling, like there could be a reason.
When COVID started early, I had like huge mental breakdown. During high school, I was diagnosed with depression, and since high school, like during Sandberg, I was able to, you know, use coping skills and recover pretty well, but it flared up really bad when COVID hit. We were fully online, and I do not learn well in an online setting. I have found it's really difficult for me to focus. And so I was sleeping in my bed a lot, and I wasn't seeing people. And so that was the time I was like, I am not going to pass. There was like 2 classes, and I think I pulled it out at the very end, but like there was a time during like mid semester, I think I was at C's and D's, and I was like, I've never been this low. And I'm thankful to Trio, because I would have not pulled myself out. I think without Laura and you and other Trio students in particular.
It's just knowing that you have this community there for you, not just for school. Like they're there for you when it comes to school, but this is life that we're all going through, like a whole transition, and having a trio that just kind of helps us and it guides you throughout this whole process, because a lot gets thrown at you while you're at college, while you go from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior. There are different things happening every year throughout each path, and it's needed to have this kind of community that's just supporting you and supporting your success. That's the main thing. Like they want you to be successful.
It's like a big part of my college like career. I don't think if I went back and like try and think of it without Trio, there's like so many things that like Trio impacted, like big memories of like my college career, like with the tutoring. I found out I really liked tutoring, and I found that out because I got tutoring. So like when I got tutoring, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like this guy's like really helping me, and he's making me understand. Like I feel like I can do this with other subjects. So that I know, because I can never do Argo, but I can teach bio, I can do psychology, Spanish, and that was really cool. I found that out. Like the trips, it was really cool to like see and explore like different parts of even Illinois or just different states, and like the museums is pretty cool. And like all the help our like just meeting with Paul and like hearing his stories about like movies, like his movie recommendations always turned out to be fire. Hearing his stories about when he was in college and like reflecting like how it is now, like that was really cool to hear too. And I just think I got like a better sense of community, and I really enjoyed that.
This trio like helped me so much, and I didn't realize like how much it would help me. Charles actually like told me, he was like, you should sign up for trio. Like he was like, I think it would be something that would really help you. I knew, like, especially like the first time I walked into your office and like we had like an initial meeting and stuff, I'm sure I was like, oh, I don't need help, like, you know, or like you were like, what are your goals? And I was like, you know, to get a 3.8 GPA, which is like, you know, like that's crazy. And so, but you actually did help me like so much to like ask for help and to like know where to get help. And that was like the biggest help that trio did for me, was that like I came in and I was like, well, I should have it figured out, you know, like I didn't have all of the issues that my mom had going to school, or that like, you know, other people have going to school, so like I should be able to figure all this stuff out. But just being able to like do that, like I don't know, like just being able to say that I didn't know what was happening or how to do stuff, or where to get information for things, was such a big help. And then just knowing that I had a community of people who were maybe not in the exact same boat as me, but like that were in similar situations, and you know, that we were all going through this like crazy thing together, was really amazing.
The amount of stability that has offered me in my time, I wouldn't have been able to come back to Knox if it had not been for being able to regularly meet with Laura Bush and be able to go to the Trio Center and just have that there. I'm a commuter, and I used to work, and so most of my college career I've worked. And so doing both of those things and living out of town, I live 20 minutes away from Knox. Juggling all of that felt at times impossible, like it would all just slip away at once. But having Laura there, having just the Trio Center there that I could walk in and I know people and people say hi and I can bring people muffins and they thank me by name and it's great. And it's just having somewhere where you can feel like you have a bit of a refuge from the madness around in the world. It really helped me through that first year back, and in this academic year as well.
The senior banquet, like I went to one sophomore year because junior year we all had to leave, and it was just really nice seeing everyone like dressed up and celebrating each other's achievements, like seeing people's faces pop up, and then like the rocks that we had, especially for Charles, because that was the year, and it was just seeing how everyone is proud of each other. Like even if you have nobody like at home to be proud of you, or people at home are far away, like you've got people right here who are proud of you, who celebrate you, and they're just will always be there for you throughout the 4 years and maybe even longer.
I guess it's just nice to be part of a community of other people who might have somewhat similar struggles. I mean, I know a lot of people in Trio maybe have some different struggles than me. Like they might be first gen, but I think we're still able to like relate from being a place of like college being maybe more difficult for us in certain ways, and being able to specifically like advocate for students with those kind of struggles, I think is really nice. And yeah, I'm happy that CHU exists for that reason. I feel like sometimes it feels like people like don't want working class and like disabled students, first gen students to succeed. So it's nice to see like, no, actually there are people who do want you to succeed and will listen.
I was always told that like, oh, just going to college is good enough. Like people like, you know, been through what you've been. You know, they usually don't go to college. They usually don't have, you know, the energy. They usually just sit back and so being able to, you know, do this for myself and be like for myself, but not only just for myself, but for my partner, for, you know, our future family, being able to, you know, start something new, have my children, you know, be interested in college, show them like the opportunities that I got when I went to college, is something that I really want to, you know, keep going. So I think, yeah, being proud of myself for being able to get through this all will be awesome.
It doesn't like dawn on you until you're like close to graduation that I'm like the first in my family to get to this point. And it's just like, it's a really cool experience and it feels really good to just say, like, hey, I'm right there. I just got to cross that finish line. And then, like, I've finished like a big accomplishment for my family.
And like, I know a college degree doesn't equal worth, but it kind of feels like it does sometimes, especially for like kids who are told that they'll never make it, but that they'll never get there. Having that degree kind of makes you feel like I did though, and that I am worth something and that I can do the same things anyone else can.
Like my whole family will be really proud of me, but the person who was very adamant since childhood that like to drill college into me was my mother. And there was a point in our lives that she thought that she wasn't going to be able to see me graduate. And so to now, like, to be sure that she is going to be at my graduation and to be able to see me like walk across the stage and have my name on a diploma and to just take pictures, like it means so much more to me than I think anyone would ever know.
Most proud. Yeah, you kind of have to go with my mom. Yeah, I mean, that's tough because I want to say my parents, but at the same time, I saw that little note that they left me from the Trio Bridge where they like send it, put it in your mailbox, and it says that they'll be proud of me no matter what. You know, that's probably true, right? But I think graduating college, like, hopefully they can see me like walk across stage. They'll be really proud. I think they'll be really proud, but I think it'll have a bigger impact on my brother because I do think that he looks up to me a lot, even though he doesn't say it. I've read his essays without him knowing, and I think he does. I don't think he's going to be able to see me because we only get 2 tickets, and I think my mom and dad would prefer it. But I think if he were able to see me, I think it would impact his life a lot.
I feel like now that I'm like towards the end and like last term, I feel like everything is kind of coming together. Like everything felt like all spread out in my life. And like now everything is like coming together and kind of like ending nicely in a way. Like all the things that I've learned about personal growth and acceptance and how to navigate school and like the talks that I've had with people that are already in their careers and like Knox alums, all those like mini life lessons that kind of help you get to your next like milestone are like kind of coming together for me in a way. So I feel a little bit more like at peace, I guess.
Despite everything that can go wrong or has gone wrong, or all the issues and challenges and obstacles, I still persevered through. I still kept going. I still tried to move forward. So I guess, as any last words, just keep moving forward. Sometimes forward isn't as straight as we want it to be, but like just keep moving forward.
I think don't be so hard on yourself. It's like I was talking about earlier with my ADHD. It's like I feel like a lot of the time I just feel really hard on myself about it. Where not even necessarily like like I said, not even necessarily like my parents or professors being even that hard on me, but me just being hard on myself. So I think just like, you're gonna do okay, you're gonna do fine, you're not going to fail, and like obviously you should make an effort, but you can also maybe cut yourself a little bit more slack.
Be more open, go out, have more experiences, because you don't know when that's going to end. Like, there are all these things I wanted to do, and then we went home for that pandemic, and you're like, oh, I'm going to come back and do all these things, and you never got to do those things. Like, don't really take anything for granted. Like, if there's a football game you want to go to, go ahead. Like, participate in flunk day, even though you're like tired or you're a little stressed out. Like, don't be afraid to do all those things. Like, go to games, go to improv, go to all these shows, because you don't know when the last one's going to be.
But I've done what I set out to do. I've done what no one else in my family has done so far. I've taken the initiative. I've put in the work. I just mean that, I can make it through these difficult times. I can make it through, and you can always keep finding new things and always get to the end goal you want to. It might take a while. It might take 4 years, but you can always get there. And it's just something that'll just keep me motivated in the future.